The massive screen in Earth's Defense Command Center lit up with an unknown signal. Admiral Marcus Stone stood perfectly still, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. After 30 years of service, he was about to witness humanity's first contact with alien life. "Sir, the signal is repeating. It's definitely artificial," reported Tom from his monitoring station. The young technician's fingers flew across his console, decoding the incoming transmission. The signal wasn't a surprise. Earth had been watching the Empire's expansion for months through their hidden deep space monitors. What surprised them was how quickly the Empire had reached Earth's sector. "Put it through," Stone ordered, his voice calm despite the historic moment. The screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. The creature looked almost reptilian, with smooth gray skin and large, intelligent eyes. It wore what appeared to be a military uniform, decorated with symbols of rank unfamiliar to human eyes. "Greetings, planet Earth." The alien spoke in perfect English, clearly using advanced translation technology. "I am High Commander Rax of the Galactic Empire. We come in peace and wish to welcome you into our grand civilization." Stone noticed the subtle signs immediately. The slightly raised chin, the look of superiority in those alien eyes, the casual way the commander spoke as if Earth's acceptance was already guaranteed. He'd seen that look before in Earth's own history, in the eyes of empires meeting primitive cultures. "Welcome, High Commander," Stone replied carefully. "Earth is honored by your contact. I am Admiral Stone of the United Earth Defense Force." The alien's eyes narrowed slightly at the word Defense Force, but his diplomatic smile never wavered. "Excellent. We would like to send an ambassador to discuss your integration into the Empire. Your species will benefit greatly from our guidance." Behind Stone, analysts were already pulling up data from years of secret observations of the Empire. Their screens showed a clear pattern: peaceful contact, offers of technology, integration, and then, subtle but complete subjugation. "We would be pleased to host your ambassador," Stone said, maintaining a pleasant expression. "Please allow us 3 Earth days to prepare appropriate welcomes." The High Commander seemed pleased by the quick acceptance. "Very good. Our ambassador will arrive in what you call 72 hours. After the transmission ended, the command center burst into activity. Stone turned to his senior staff, his face grave. "Get me the council. Now." In the emergency council chamber, representatives from Earth's nations gathered quickly. The room buzzed with tension as Admiral Stone presented their findings. "The Empire has conquered 12 known civilizations in the past decade," he explained, showing captured footage of Imperial ships. "Their pattern is consistent. They offer friendship, then technology, then economic integration. Within 5 years, the target civilization exists only to serve Imperial interests." "And they've never faced resistance?" asked one council member. "None effective," replied Stone. "Most civilizations they've encountered are peaceful spacefaring races. They've never dealt with a species that evolved through constant warfare." The council chamber grew quiet as images of human history played across the screens. Unlike the Empire's previous conquests, humanity had grown strong through millennia of conflict. They had developed the art of war to levels that would horrify most peaceful species. "They don't know what they're walking into," Stone continued. "They see our visible technology level and assume we're an easy target. They don't know about our hidden defenses, our military doctrine, or our capacity for resistance." "What do you suggest?" asked the council president. Stone's face hardened. "I suggest we warn them. Not with threats or displays of force, but with the truth. They need to understand that humanity is different from anything they've encountered before." The council debated briefly, but the decision was clear. Earth would not become another conquered world in the Empire's collection. They would give the Empire one chance to walk away. As the ambassador's ship approached 3 days later, Stone prepared to deliver humanity's message. The Empire was about to learn that they'd made a crucial mistake. They had never fought humans before, and if they were wise, they never would. Looking at the approaching Imperial shuttle, Stone allowed himself a small smile. The Empire thought they were coming to conquer a primitive world. Instead, they were about to meet a species that had mastered the art of war through thousands of years of practice. The real question wasn't whether Earth could resist. The question was whether the Empire would be smart enough to recognize the danger before it was too late. The Imperial Ambassador's shuttle landed with perfect precision on the Washington landing pad. Dr. Anna Reed watched from the diplomatic reception area, her mind already forming strategies. As Earth's chief negotiator, she knew the next few hours would shape humanity's future. "They're certainly putting on a show," muttered Admiral Stone, standing beside her. The Imperial shuttle gleamed in the morning sun, its polished surface reflecting Earth's clear blue sky. The ambassador who stepped out was tall and imposing, flanked by 4 guards in ornate armor. Their weapons, while decorative, were clearly advanced energy weapons, a calculated display of power. "Welcome to Earth," Dr. Reed said, stepping forward with a practiced smile. "I am Dr. Reed, Earth's diplomatic chief." The ambassador's translator converted his clicks and whistles into smooth English. "I am Ambassador Tal of the Galactic Empire. We bring greetings and gifts of advancement." As they walked to the conference room, Reed noticed how the ambassador's eyes darted around, analyzing everything. Not the curious looks of a diplomat, but the calculating gaze of someone assessing a future conquest. The conference room was simple but impressive, with large windows overlooking the city. The United Earth Council waited inside, representatives from every major nation seated around a circular table. "Before we begin," Dr. Reed said as everyone took their seats, "we have prepared a brief presentation about Earth." The ambassador settled into his chair, looking slightly bored. His species had probably done this hundreds of times before. Listened to primitive peoples brag about their simple achievements, then overwhelm them with imperial technology. The lights dimmed. On the large screen, images began to play, not of Earth's achievements or cities, but of its wars. The ambassador's bored expression vanished as he watched footage from World War II. Tanks rolling across continents, cities reduced to rubble, massive armies clashing across land, sea, and air. "This was just one of our global conflicts," Reed explained calmly. "It ended with the creation of weapons so powerful they could destroy entire cities in seconds." The images shifted to nuclear test footage. The ambassador's guards shifted uncomfortably as they watched mushroom clouds rise into the sky. "Since then, we've only gotten better at warfare." Admiral Stone took over the presentation. "We've developed stealth technology, drone weapons, and defense systems that remain hidden until needed." The ambassador's translator crackled as he spoke quickly. "These are historical images." "Yes," Reed nodded, "from nearly a century ago. Would you like to see our current capabilities?" Without waiting for an answer, the screen showed modern military exercises, invisible stealth aircraft appearing from nowhere, precision strikes from orbit, swarms of autonomous drones moving in perfect coordination. "We've noticed the Empire's pattern," Reed continued, her voice still pleasant but firm. "You offer friendship, then slowly take control. It's worked 12 times before. But there's something you should know." The ambassador's face had lost its superior expression. His eyes were fixed on the screen as it showed Earth's hidden orbital defense platforms emerging from their stealth fields. "Humanity is different from the species you've conquered before," Admiral Stone said. "We didn't achieve unity through peaceful evolution. We forged it through conflict and survival. We've spent thousands of years perfecting the art of war." Dr. Reed leaned forward, her voice soft but clear. "This is not a threat, Ambassador. It's a warning. For your own safety, we strongly suggest the Empire reconsiders any plans of conquest." The ambassador's guards had their hands near their weapons now, but they looked unsure. Everything they'd seen went against their experience with primitive worlds. "The Empire offers peace and advancement," the ambassador said stiffly. "And we offer good advice," Reed replied. "Look through our history, study our wars. Then ask yourself one question. Does the Empire really want to be the first to fight humans? As the ambassador left the conference room an hour later, his proud posture had changed. He walked quickly, almost nervously, followed by his equally disturbed guards. In orbit, Imperial sensors detected something new. Hundreds of small objects decloaking briefly before vanishing again. Earth's hidden teeth shone for just a moment. The message was clear. The Empire had never lost a war because they only fought species that didn't know how to fight back. But humans had turned war into an art form. And they were willing to teach the Empire exactly why that was dangerous. 3 days after the warning, the Empire's response arrived in the form of 50 warships, dropping out of faster-than-light travel near Earth's orbit. They arranged themselves in a perfect formation, a standard Imperial tactic meant to overwhelm primitive species with a show of force. Admiral Stone stood in the command center, watching the ships with calm eyes. "Right on schedule," he said, checking his watch. They never learn. The Imperial Fleet Commander's face appeared on the main screen. "This is Fleet Commander Vex of the Galactic Empire. Your warning has been noted. However, the Empire believes you need a demonstration of our peaceful intentions." Stone's lips curved into a slight smile. "Actually, Commander, we were thinking the same thing. Dr. Reed, would you like to begin?" Dr. Reed stepped forward, her voice clear and professional. "Commander, we invite you to observe a small demonstration of our own. Please watch carefully." At her signal, Earth's hidden defense grid activated. Thousands of satellites shed their civilian disguises, revealing weapon systems that had been invisible to Imperial scans. Hundreds of ground-based missile silos opened, their contents aimed skyward. The Imperial commander's confident expression flickered. His sensors were suddenly showing far more defensive capabilities than their initial scans had detected. "This is just the visible part," Stone explained casually. "Now let us show you something about human warfare that you might find interesting." On cue, swarms of small, automated drones emerged from hidden bases around the planet. They moved in complex patterns that the Imperial computers couldn't predict, their formations shifting and adapting like living things. "We call this swarm intelligence," Reed explained. "Each drone thinks independently, but works as part of a larger whole, rather like humans themselves." The Imperial fleet's weapons tracked the drones, but the targeting systems couldn't lock on. The drones were too unpredictable, too random in their movements. "But here's the really interesting part," Stone continued. "Humans don't just fight in space. We fight everywhere." Screens showed Imperial analysts footage of Earth's Special Forces training. Soldiers appearing from nowhere in dense jungles. Urban warfare specialists moving through ruined cities like ghosts. Naval units operating in the deepest oceans. "You see, Commander," Reed said, "humans turned every environment into a battlefield. We adapted to fight anywhere. And we never, ever give up." The demonstration continued. Earth's hidden fleet emerged from the dark side of the moon. Ships that had been invisible to Imperial sensors. They were fewer in number than the Imperial fleet, but moved with a precision that caught the Empire's attention. "Your ships are impressive," Commander Vex said, trying to maintain his composure. "But the Empire's technology isn't the point," Stone interrupted. "You're thinking like the Empire always thinks. About numbers, about technology, about overwhelming force. But that's not how humans wage war." As if to prove his point, several human ships suddenly vanished from Imperial sensors. They reappeared seconds later in different positions, using technology the Empire hadn't known Earth possessed. "We fight smart," Reed explained. "We fight dirty when we need to. We use every advantage, every trick, every possible strategy. And we've had thousands of years to perfect our methods." The demonstration concluded with a simulated defense scenario. Earth's combined forces didn't just fight back. They adapted, changed tactics, found weaknesses, and exploited them ruthlessly. Commander Vex's face had lost its superior look. His crew could be seen in the background, frantically analyzing the data they'd collected. Everything they were seeing went against their understanding of how primitive species should behave. The Empire appreciates this informative demonstration, Vex said carefully. We hope you do, Stone replied. Because what you've seen today is just a small sample. We strongly suggest you take this information back to your leaders. Let them know what they'd be dealing with. As the Imperial fleet prepared to depart, Reed delivered one final message. Remember, Commander, humans don't want war. We're very good at it, but we'd rather have peace. The choice is yours. The Imperial ships vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind a planet that had just changed everything they thought they knew about warfare. Earth had shown its teeth, and they were far sharper than the Empire had expected. James Walker stood before the Imperial research team in a simple briefing room. As Earth's leading military historian, he had been chosen to explain what the Empire feared most: humanity's capacity for warfare. Today, he began, sliding a data crystal across the table. We're giving you access to our military archives. You might want to prepare yourselves. The Imperial researchers, led by Chief Analyst Dex, connected the crystal to their systems. They expected to see weapon specifications or battle plans. Instead, they saw something far more terrifying: humanity's complete military history. Let's start with something basic, Walker said, bringing up footage of ancient battles. These are humans fighting with just metal and muscle. Notice how they already understood complex strategy thousands of years ago. The Imperial team watched in silence as armies clashed across ancient battlefields. They saw Roman legions moving with deadly precision, Mongol horsemen using complex tactics, medieval castles demonstrating advanced siege warfare. But that's just the beginning, Walker continued. Watch what happened when humans started really getting creative. The footage shifted to World War I. The Imperial analysts' eyes widened as they saw the scale of industrial warfare. Miles of trenches, poison gas rolling across battlefields, the first tanks crushing everything in their path. Your species, Chief Analyst Dex spoke carefully. You did this to yourselves. We did, Walker nodded. And then we got better at it. The next images showed World War I, massive naval battles, cities enduring endless bombing, armies of millions clashing across continents. The Imperial researchers took frantic notes, their earlier arrogance replaced by growing concern. But here's what you really need to understand, Walker said, his voice serious. It's not just about the fighting. It's about how humans adapt. He showed them footage of resistance movements, ordinary people becoming guerrilla fighters, cities hiding vast networks of tunnels, farmers and factory workers turning everyday items into weapons. Every human, Walker explained, has the potential to become a fighter. We don't just have armies, our entire species knows how to resist. The presentation continued with the Cold War. The Imperial team learned about spy networks, proxy wars, and the doctrine of mutual assured destruction. They saw how humans had built weapons so powerful, they were afraid to use them. This is what makes humans different, Walker said. We're so good at war that we scare ourselves. That's why we work so hard to avoid it. One of the younger Imperial researchers raised a hand. But your weapons now, they're not as advanced as ours. Walker smiled. No, they're not. But remember, humans don't win through technology alone. We win because we never stop adapting, never stop thinking of new ways to fight. He showed them modern special forces training, soldiers learning to fight in every environment. Arctic ice, burning deserts, dense jungles, crowded cities. The Imperial team watched humans turn any terrain into a battlefield. And here's the most important part, Walker said, bringing up final footage. We learn from everything. The screen showed human military planners studying animal hunting tactics, sports strategies, even children's games. Everything humans did somehow fed back into their understanding of warfare. Chief Analyst Dex's hands shook slightly as he made his final notes. Your species, you've been practicing war your entire history. Yes, Walker agreed. Not because we want to, but because we had to. And now we're very, very good at it. As the Imperial team prepared to leave, Walker handed them one final data crystal. This contains footage of what happened to the last powers that tried to conquer others on Earth. Study it carefully. The Imperial researchers left quickly, clutching their data and notes. They had come expecting to study a primitive species. Instead, they had found something unprecedented, a species that had turned warfare into an art form. Back in his office, Walker sent a message to Admiral Stone. They understand now. They've seen what humans can do. The Empire had wanted to learn about Earth's military capabilities. Instead, they had learned something far more important: why every human could become a soldier, and why that made Earth the most dangerous planet they had ever encountered. Inside the massive Imperial War Council chamber, Fleet Commander Vex stood before the Empire's highest military leaders. His usual confidence was gone, replaced by an urgency none had seen before. "Honored leaders," he began, "we have made a serious mistake in our assessment of Earth." The chamber's holographic displays came to life, showing detailed analysis of human warfare. The Imperial leaders leaned forward, their expressions growing darker with each new piece of information. "The humans don't just fight wars," Vex explained. "They revolutionize warfare itself with each conflict. Look at this data from their World War I period." The displays showed how humans had gone from basic aircraft to jet engines in just 6 years of war, how they had developed radar, sonar, and early computers, all because of military needs. "But that's not what truly makes them dangerous," Vex continued. "This is." New images appeared: massive underground bunkers, hidden missile silos, and something that made even the most seasoned Imperial commanders shift uncomfortably: nuclear weapons. "They call it mutually assured destruction," Vex said quietly. "The idea that if anyone attacks them with these weapons, everyone dies. They developed this concept decades ago and built their entire defense strategy around it." One of the older commanders spoke up. "Surely they wouldn't actually use such weapons. No species would risk their own destruction." "That's exactly what makes them so dangerous," Vex replied. "They would. They've proven it. Their military doctrine is clear. If they face destruction, they'll take their enemies with them." The displays shifted to show Earth's current military capabilities: hidden fleets, stealth technology, and warfare techniques the Empire had never considered. "Look at how they fight." Vex pointed to footage of human special forces. "They don't just adapt to environments. They exploit them. Every terrain, every situation becomes a potential advantage." The Council watched as human soldiers demonstrated urban warfare, jungle fighting, Arctic survival, and desert combat. Each environment required different skills, and humans had mastered them all. And their space warfare capabilities. Vex brought up new data. "They're not just copying our technology. They're developing completely new ways to fight in space." The displays showed Earth's hidden orbital platforms, their unconventional ship designs, and their swarm tactics that no Imperial computer could predict. "But here's the most disturbing part," Vex said, his voice grave. "We've discovered why they're so effective at warfare." He played footage from Earth's entertainment archives. Movies, games, and simulations all focused on warfare. They don't just practice war, they imagine it. They think about it constantly, creating countless scenarios and solutions. The Council chamber was silent as they watched humans turn even their entertainment into military training. Children playing strategy games, adults studying historical battles for fun, an entire species constantly thinking about how to fight better. And now, Vex concluded, they're preparing for space warfare. "Look at these designs." The final displays showed Earth's plans for space combat. Not just ships and weapons, but entire strategies developed specifically to counter Imperial tactics. "They've been watching us," Vex explained, "learning our patterns, and they've already developed countermeasures for everything we might try." The War Council sat in stunned silence. Finally, the head of the council spoke. "How did we miss this? How did we not see what they were?" "Because we've never encountered anything like them," Vex replied. "Every species we've met evolved toward peace. Humans evolved through constant warfare. They don't just know how to fight. They're masters of it." As the council debated, one fact became clear. Fighting humans would be unlike anything the Empire had ever faced. Not because of their technology or their numbers, but because of their nature. The Empire had conquered 12 species before, but those species fought because they had to. Humans. Humans had turned warfare into a science, an art form, a fundamental part of their civilization. In the end, the Council reached a unanimous decision. For the first time in Imperial history, they would back down. Not out of mercy or kindness, but out of something the Empire had never felt before. Fear of what humanity might do if pushed into a real war. The Emperor's private chamber was silent as he reviewed the final reports about Earth. His most trusted advisors waited nervously, watching their rulers' expressions change from disbelief to concern, and finally to grim acceptance. "So," the Emperor said, placing the report down, "a primitive species has made the Empire back down. How? Interesting." High Commander Rax stepped forward. "Your Majesty, the humans are unlike anything we've encountered. Our analysts suggest that fighting them would be catastrophic." The Emperor finished the sentence. "Yes, I can see that from these reports." The chamber's walls displayed scenes from Earth's military history. The Emperor watched as humans demonstrated their capacity for warfare again and again. "Look at this," he pointed to footage of modern special forces training. "Their soldiers train to fight in environments we consider impossible, and they do it without advanced technology." Another advisor, the head of Imperial Intelligence, spoke up. "There's more, Your Majesty. Our deep space monitoring stations have detected something concerning." New images appeared, showing Earth's rapid expansion into their solar system. In just the few weeks since first contact, they had activated dozens of previously hidden military installations across their planets and moons. "They're not just preparing for defense," the intelligence chief explained. "They're getting ready for a long-term space war, and they're doing it faster than any species we've ever seen." The Emperor stood, walking closer to the displays. "Show me their adaptation rate." Graphs appeared, showing how quickly humans developed and improved their technology. The line wasn't steady. It jumped dramatically during times of conflict. "Fascinating," the Emperor murmured. "They advance faster when threatened. Even now, just our presence is pushing them to evolve more quickly." High Commander Rax cleared his throat nervously. "There's something else, Your Majesty. Word of Earth has spread to our other subject worlds." The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "Explain." "The humans released their military archives publicly. Other species are studying them, learning from them. Some are already talking about human-style resistance." This news made the Emperor pause. The Empire had maintained control through overwhelming force and advanced technology. But humans had shown that superior technology wasn't everything. Sometimes, determination and adaptability could overcome any advantage. "And what do our military analysts recommend?" the Emperor asked, though he already knew the answer. The chief military advisor stepped forward, holding a final report. "They are unanimous, Your Majesty. Attempting to conquer Earth would be a disaster. Even if we won, the cost would be unacceptable." "Because they would never truly surrender," the Emperor finished. "They would keep fighting, keep adapting, keep finding new ways to resist, and they would teach others to do the same." The chamber fell silent again as the Emperor considered the situation. For the first time in Imperial history, they had found a species that couldn't be conquered through normal means. Humans weren't just warriors. They were warfare innovators, constantly developing new ways to fight. Finally, the Emperor spoke. "Prepare a diplomatic mission. A real one this time, not a prelude to conquest. We will establish peaceful relations with Earth." His advisors looked relieved, but the Emperor wasn't finished. And send word to all Imperial fleets. Earth's solar system is now designated as a restricted zone. No military vessels are to enter their space without explicit permission. As the advisors hurried to carry out his orders, the Emperor turned to High Commander Rax. Make sure every Imperial commander understands this. We do not fight humans. Not now. Not ever. The cost would be too high. The decision spread quickly through the Empire. For the first time, they had found a species too dangerous to conquer. The humans hadn't defeated them with weapons or technology. They had done it by showing the Empire exactly what fighting humanity would mean. In the end, the Empire's greatest victory came from knowing when not to fight. They had finally met a species that had mastered the art of warfare so completely that even the mighty Empire chose peace instead of risking war. 1 year after first contact, the Great Hall of the United Earth Council looked very different. Representatives from a dozen alien species sat alongside human delegates, discussing trade routes and cultural exchange programs. At the center of it all stood Admiral Stone and Dr. Reed, the humans who had changed galactic history without firing a single shot. The trade agreement with the Empire's outer worlds is proceeding well, Dr. Reed reported to the Council. They're particularly interested in our entertainment simulations. You mean our war games? Admiral Stone asked with a slight smile. Exactly. Reed nodded. Apparently, our ability to imagine and prepare for countless combat scenarios is unique in the galaxy. They're studying our military training programs too, not to fight us, but to learn how we think. The meeting was interrupted by an urgent message. The Emperor himself appeared on the main screen, his expression unusually respectful for an Imperial leader. Earth Council, he began, we seek your advice on a matter of security. Pirates have been attacking our trade routes in the Centauri sector. Our standard tactics have proven ineffective. Stone and Reed exchanged knowing looks. This was the third such request this month. The mighty Empire, which had never lost a war before meeting humans, now came to Earth for military advice. We'll have our tactical advisors contact your command staff, Stone replied. Though remember our agreement, we only provide defensive strategies. The Emperor nodded quickly. Of course, we have no desire to test Earth's military capabilities. The simulations were quite enough. After the transmission ended, Reed turned to Stone. Did you ever think it would turn out like this? The Empire learning from us instead of trying to conquer us. It was the smart choice, Stone said. They realized that fighting humans would change everything they knew about warfare. Better to have us as allies than enemies. The Council Chamber's displays showed the changes of the past year. Earth's defense technology was now among the most valued exports in the galaxy, not because it was the most advanced, but because it was the most unpredictable, developed by a species that had spent millennia thinking about how to win against superior forces. The latest report from Imperial space is interesting, a council member noted. Their military is completely reorganizing based on our historical examples. They're finally learning that bigger isn't always better. It wasn't just the Empire that had changed. Other species, seeing how Earth had stood up to Imperial power, began studying human history. They discovered that humanity's greatest strength wasn't its weapons or technology. It was its endless creativity in finding new ways to fight. The Empire's war minister sent an interesting message yesterday, Reed mentioned. He said studying Earth's military history has made them completely revise their understanding of warfare. Apparently, they never considered that a species might actually enjoy planning for combat scenarios. Stone laughed. Well, we did warn them. Remember what we said in that first meeting. Run. The afternoon brought another surprising development. A group of younger species, newly spacefaring civilizations, requested Earth's protection against Imperial expansion. They didn't want weapons or technology. They wanted to learn how humans thought about defense and strategy. We're becoming the galaxy's military advisors, Reed observed, teaching others how to defend themselves without starting wars. It's a strange kind of peace. As the day ended, Stone stood at the window of his office, watching the sunset. Earth's orbital defense platforms were visible as tiny dots against the orange sky, now joined by trading ships from across the galaxy. "You know what the funny thing is," he said to Reed, who had joined him. "We achieved more by showing them what we could do in war than we ever could have by actually fighting." Reed smiled. "Yes, it turns out the best way to keep peace is to be so good at war that no one wants to fight you." In the end, humanity had changed the galaxy not through conquest or technology, but by being itself, a species so dedicated to mastering warfare that even the greatest empire in history decided to learn from them instead of fighting them. The empire had never lost a war before meeting humans. Now they never would, because humans had taught them something more valuable than victory. They had taught them when not to fight at all.